know my favorite shit on cops is when a motherfucker just decides he gonna run away. Like he'll be talking to the cop, and you know he about to run because they get real still. They start looking around and shit. And then they just take off and run, and the cop be all mad because this cops is always this fat, out of shape cop. They be all mad, "You fucking make me run." But it's cops, so they always catch them, right? Because you've never seen an episode of Cops where the motherfucker just walk. He got away. You know why? Because this is Cops, not the first 48. Them motherfuckers fail every week in that show. Every week. They be like, how come you guys couldn't solve the case? Cops be like, look, we couldn't find a snitch. We can't walk into the... Somebody saw this shit. By the way, speaking of the police, fuck them.
Mojo fun fact, America is only 5% of the entire world's population, yet we hold 25% of the world's prisoners. America has a higher prison rate than the entire world. Number one, baby, USA, USA. Between 1970 and 2005, the prison population grew 700%, outpacing population growth in this country. Oh, and we have the highest number of kids in jail, too. Remember that when you hear Americans acting all high and mighty. Hey, China, you can't let those kids work in sweatshops making Nikes. That's wrong. Meanwhile, we arrest and incarcerate over 130,000 kids every year in this country. And who profits from this? According to the ACLU, the two largest prison companies alone, Corrections Corp of America and the Geo Group, made $3 billion in revenue. Corrections Corp of America and the Geo Group use their influence to keep bad laws on the books, just so cops can have a reason to lock you up. These big companies spend millions to lobby politicians to resist changes in immigration policy, changes in the drug laws, just so they can keep making big money off of locking people up. And who are these people? Black people. In order to understand why, you have to understand history. The justice system in this country was set up against black people. When slavery ended, the powers that be didn't want a bunch of Negroes roaming the countryside, eating up all the chickens and raping white women. That was the stereotype anyway. Besides, suppressing these people was justified. What if they started an uprising and tried to get revenge for that whole slavery thing? Besides, there was still work that needed to be done, land that needed to be cleared, and since Lincoln passed this damn amendment, they couldn't just put black people back in chains anymore, or could they? Just like the law has the power to give justice, it also has the power to take it away. After writing a bunch of bogus laws, they recruited an army of police officers. Suddenly, everything a brother did became a crime. I know a lot of people will doubt that statement, but think about it like this. In 1960, it was a crime for black people to sit at a white counter and eat. Yeah, shit was real back then. Now imagine 3 months after slavery ended. Hey boy, you eyeballing that white woman like that? You can't be eyeballing Miss Becky like that. Raping her with your coon eyes. What's wrong with you, boy? That's a crime. That's a crime. And suddenly, that man was in cuffs and taken to jail. And once they got him to the station, they either lynched him or they processed and convicted them and put them to work in a chain gang wearing brand new chains. And the best part? They got to treat them like slaves again. Now that these former slaves were prisoners, they were criminals. And nobody cares about a criminal because criminals are bad and everybody knows that. And the cops? Naturally, they were the good guys, the heroes, the principled lawmen. These men came together to form the thin blue line that kept the animals in place to protect and to serve. Now you know who they're protecting and exactly who they're serving. When you start with the corrupt core, all you get is corruption. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Following an FBI probe of the nation's largest jail system, a group of California law enforcement officers have been accused of wrongdoing.
And we, in fact, uncovered evidence of civil rights and public corruption violations. The charges allege a disturbing conduct that includes assaults of inmates and visitors, fictitious reports, and false arrests designed to cover up civil rights abuses.
Investigators say Wolford arrested a 25-year-old intoxicated woman for a probation violation last November. He then, according to the victim, who was not in court, exposed himself and forced her to perform a sex act to avoid jail. DNA tests confirmed her story.
The verdict in a case that's drawn national attention. 2 California police officers accused of killing a mentally ill homeless man in 2011. The incident caught on tape. Today, a jury in Orange County, California, found the officers not guilty.
He got away with murdering my son. It's just not fair, so I guess it's legal to go out and kill now.
Freedom is precious, you know.
Lewis Taylor is savoring his first 24 hours of freedom. We sat down for a face-to-face interview with Taylor and his attorney, Ed Novak. His freedom is new. His emotions are raw.
You know, I did 41 years of my life, you know, for something I didn't do. It was shameful. It was shameful what they did to me.
Comic book writer Alan Moore once posed a question: who watches the Watchmen? When it comes to these Watchmen, the answer isn't too difficult. They watch themselves.